The man awoke. He did not know this place. The air was warm, it smelled of dust and something sweet, like baking bread. Strange sounds filled his ears, voices shouted in a language he did not understand. Wheels rumbled on stone. He sat up slowly. The bed was hard. The room was small and plain. Sunlight streamed through a single unshuttered window. He felt a deep sense of confusion. Where was he, and when? This was not his home. This was not his time. He was sure of that. He rose and walked to the window. His heart beat faster. Below, a street bustled with people. Men in white robes, like sheets, hurried past. Some wore leather armor. Women carried baskets on their heads. Horse-drawn chariots clattered loudly on the uneven stones. The buildings were made of stone and wood. They looked old, very old. He saw a grand archway in the distance. Then he saw a man selling scrolls. Scrolls. It was like a dream, a very vivid, very real dream. He was in the past. Carefully he left the small room. He found himself in a crowded marketplace. The smells were stronger here, spices, roasting meat, unwashed bodies. It was overwhelming. He saw a vendor selling fruit, bright red apples and purple grapes. He was hungry. He pointed to an apple. The vendor, a stout man with a kind face, smiled. He spoke words the man could not grasp. The man offered a coin from his own time. The vendor looked puzzled. Then he laughed and waved his hand, giving the apple freely. Kindness, it seemed, was timeless. He walked, eating the sweet apple. He saw a huge circular building. It towered above everything else, the Colosseum. He knew it from pictures, but pictures did not show its true size, its immense power. People were streaming towards it. He felt a mix of awe and a strange, cold fear. What happened inside those walls? He had read about the games, the gladiators, the crowds. Life here was vibrant. It was also brutal. He watched for a long time. The sun climbed higher. The day was already full of wonders and worries. Then he blinked. He was in a different bed. This one was soft. It seemed to float. The room was white and very clean. There were no windows, only smooth glowing walls. A gentle hum filled the air. He felt calm, yet strangely detached. He rose. His clothes had changed. He wore a simple silver-grey tunic. It was light and comfortable. He touched a wall. A section slid open silently. Beyond, a vast space stretched out. He gasped. He was high up, very high. Clouds drifted below him. He stepped onto a balcony. The city was incredible. Towers of glass and light pierced the sky. They seemed to go on forever. Small, silent vehicles zipped between them. There were no roads below, only green parks and shimmering waterways. The air was clean and fresh. It felt pure. This was the future. A distant, shining future. He wondered what year it was. A soft female voice spoke from nowhere. Welcome. The date is August 14th, 2342. How may I assist you? He looked around. There was no one there. Who are you? He asked the empty air. I am Aura, your personal assistant, the voice replied. A holographic projection, if you prefer a visual. A shimmering blue form of a woman appeared before him. She smiled. You seem disoriented. Would you like a nutritional beverage? He nodded, still amazed. Technology here was like magic. Aura guided him through the day. People moved gracefully, they spoke softly, they seemed content. But there was a quietness about them, a lack of strong emotion. He observed them in communal spaces. They interacted through glowing screens more than face-to-face. Children played with light constructs. Their laughter was soft. Food appeared from wall dispensers, perfectly designed for nutrition. Everything was efficient, everything was peaceful. Yet he felt a strange loneliness. The raw, vibrant energy of Rome was missing. The future was clean and safe, but was it as alive? He saw great progress, but he also saw a subtle change in human connection. It was different, very different. Another blink. The world shifted again. He lay on a straw pallet. The air was cold and damp. It smelled of wood smoke and animals. He heard chickens clucking nearby. A dog barked in the distance. He opened his eyes. The ceiling was low, made of rough wooden beams. Cobwebs hung in the corners. He was in a small dark hut. A single shaft of light came from a poorly fitting door. He felt a shiver, not just from the cold. This place felt ancient, but different from Rome, more primitive. He pushed open the creaking door. Mud. The ground was thick with it. Small thatched roof houses huddled together. A thin curl of smoke rose from each. Men in rough brown clothes worked in a nearby field. They used simple tools. A woman carried a wooden bucket from a well. Her face was tired. Children, barefoot and dirty, chased a piglet through the mud. They laughed loudly. It was a harsh life, a life of struggle. He could see it everywhere. He thought this must be the medieval times, a time of hardship. He walked through the village. People looked at him with suspicion. His clothes were too clean, too strange. He tried to smile. A blacksmith hammered loudly at his forge. Sparks flew. The clang of metal on metal was a constant rhythm. Farmers guided oxen pulling a wooden plough. Their movements were slow, heavy with effort. Yet there was a strong sense of community. People helped each other. They shared what little they had. He saw a group mending a roof together. Their voices were rough, but their actions were kind. The day was long and filled with toil. He watched the sun arc across the sky. There were no grand towers here, no easy comforts, but there was a resilience, a toughness. People faced hardship together. They found joy in small things. A shared meal, a song in the evening. He felt their fear of the unknown, of sickness, of hunger, of the Lord in his distant castle, but he also felt their strength, their connection to the earth, their simple, powerful will to survive. Life was hard, but it was also deeply human. His eyes opened. This time, sunlight dappled through green leaves. He was in a room that seemed part of nature, walls of living wood. A gentle breeze carried the scent of flowers. He felt peaceful. Looking out, he saw a city unlike any before. Buildings were curved, organic shapes. They blended with lush gardens and flowing water. It was beautiful. Technology was present, but it served nature, not dominated it. Flying vehicles, silent and sleek, moved along designated sky paths, careful not to disturb the tranquility. People walked below, their clothes bright and comfortable. He learned it was the year 2150. This future felt different from the sterile perfection of 2342. Here, there was warmth, laughter echoed more freely. People interacted directly, their faces expressive. They tended to community gardens, they gathered in open-air plazas. Art and music were everywhere. It seemed humanity had found a balance between progress and well-being, between the individual and the community, between the artificial and the natural. He felt a sense of hope in this place. It was a future he could imagine living in. He spent the day observing. He saw children learning in outdoor classrooms, surrounded by plants and animals. He saw scientists working with advanced tools, yet their focus was on healing the planet. Energy was clean, food was grown locally, there was an air of collaboration. People seemed connected to each other, to their environment. It was a stark contrast to the detachment of the sky cities and the harshness of the medieval village. Yet, like Rome, there was a vibrancy, a zest for life. It was a thoughtful, compassionate future. As this day ended, he reflected, so many times, so many lives, Rome's raw ambition, the medieval village's stark survival, the gleaming, cold future of 2342, the green, hopeful future of 2150. Each era had its wonders and its woes, its unique challenges and its triumphs. But beneath the surface, some things never changed. The need for food and shelter, the desire for connection, the spark of curiosity, the capacity for kindness and also for cruelty. Time, he realized, changed the stage, but the human heart, in its essence, played a familiar song across all ages.